The rod jerks violently. He grabs it, screaming in delight as a fish strikes.
Holy shit, we've got a fish on. Oh my God. Stop it, stop it.
The rod bends hard, tattoos flex as he fights the strain. Excitement and fear mix, a monster lurks below. With a final heave, the fish lands on the rocks. The angler gasps, stunned by the catch that appeared from nowhere.
4 or 5 minutes, like literally 4 or 5 minutes. Look at this. You will not believe what just happened, dude. Oh, I need to chill out, man.
Still riding the adrenaline, he scrambles across rocks, face planting into his hand. No time for dignity. He's got a wild story, with evidence flopping there. He points to the current, explaining the trick. No metal hooks here, just cotton thread wrapped to snag teeth. He holds up the catch, pointing to the lure. The cotton did its job, but something else intervened. A major twist changed everything. Sitting on the rocks, he admits why he returned. To redeem himself after last time's heartbreaking failure. He points to the reef that broke his gear last time. With a heavier rod ready, he waits for the tide to drop before heading back into the fight. Autopsy. Cradling the long tom, the angler leans in like a forensic examiner. The body tells a violent story, every mark a clue. The reel screamed not for the long tom, but for the GT that erupted from the deep. It clamped its jaws on the prey, stealing the catch in an instant.
When my spool was just screaming, look at this. Big bite marks here. So the GT's grabbed it.
The jaw snapped clean off. Not a barracuda's surgical slice, but a GT's brutal crush. That grip grinds bone to dust, leaving nothing but wreckage. A barracuda would slice clean through, but this is GT violence, a brutal grab and crush from the deep. A pocket knife and stove make this rock a kitchen. The long tom survived the GT, only to end up on a volcanic board. No second chances here. Peeling back, the skin reveals pristine white flesh. Surviving a predator attack, this fish delivers a perfect fillet. The knife struggles, but the meat is worth it.
But we'll get there. Don't you worry about that.
The dull blade drags along the bone, fighting every inch of the stubborn spine. 2 fillets rest on the rock, the reward for beating a GT to its meal. The uneven volcanic rock makes skinning awkward. With no clean surface, he improvises, doing the best he can with what he has.
That's what we're here for.
A packet of soy sauce emerges. Half the fish stays raw for breakfast while the rest waits to be fried. One bite shuts his eyes tight. The fresh flavor proves no fancy prep is needed for this to taste incredible. Gazing at the glittering sea, he realizes these 25 minutes on the rock define what it truly means to be alive. Fish strips hit the hot oil. A violent sizzle curls the edges white, turning raw flesh crispy in seconds. He checks his watch. Low tide hits at 11, exposing the reef structures. The window for action is now open. He scatters salt over the sizzling fish, a simple fix for a forgotten step.
Oh, look at this! This is actually a disaster. I've got a fish on.
He drives one knee into the rock, locking the rod against a surge that screams crazy. The water erupts. A long tom rolls through the shallows, its sheer size shocking the angler.
Guys, if the day continues on like this, it's gonna be interesting to say the least. So
he holds up the frayed end. The fish didn't just snap the 40-pound leader, it slowly ground through it with its teeth. 6 golden fillets sizzle in the pan, crisp and ready. Chopsticks lift the fish, draining oil on a t-shirt. The heat burns his fingertips. He drains the oil, muttering about the heat. Despite the mess, those golden pieces look irresistible. He lifts the first piece, golden brown and steaming, a simple reward after the morning's battle. The first bite crunches, eyes close in pure bliss, absolutely beautiful. Mid-bite, a cannon blast erupts. The rod explodes off its rest, reel screaming into the current. Breakfast forgotten, the battle begins. Coffee first, then pack up. The next spot lies beyond the headland, a long, rugged walk over volcanic rock to reach the reef.
See if we...
Coffee in hand, he pushes through the brush. The morning's chaos has settled into pure satisfaction. The trail ahead is long, winding through shade toward a hidden fishing spot. He finishes his coffee, savoring the quiet nature before the hard walk begins. He stops, arms wide, taking in the empty wilderness. This is his favorite place on earth, no roads, no people, just rock, water, and sky. Coffee gone, straps tight, he accelerates toward the next spot, hunting for a massive bend in the rod. He steps onto the open flats, arms wide. The mangroves stand dense behind him, the sea still ahead. He drops the bag, breathless but buzzing with excitement. The air is dead still. Not a single breath of wind disturbs the glass-flat water. The tide runs higher than predicted, flooding the mangroves fast. It makes the setup harder, more technical and dangerous, but that is exactly why he came.
Now it's actually pissing down right now. Oi, 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 oi.
He drags half a mangrove into the shelter. Soaked but laughing, he embraces the chaos. From the bag comes a 60-gram popper in electric blue. Not the biggest lure, but built to create chaos on the surface.
A big pop. That rain's starting to stop. Let's get into it. That thing is huge. It's like, that is a monster starfish. That's my hand.
Beneath the clear water, sea urchins cluster thick. He wades through the shallows, marveling at the vibrant life thriving in this pristine mangrove ecosystem. He lifts the heavy popper, eyeing the drop-off. The first cast slices the air, plunging into the depths where monsters lurk. He casts the lure far into the currents and begins twitching it on the surface to mimic a wounded baitfish. The ocean has its own agenda. Knee-deep in dry sand, he finds the low tide far higher than predicted, turning his ambush spot into a waist-deep trap. The rising water threatens his survival gear. His pack holds every piece of tech and shelter he owns, raising the stakes with each wave. Icy water soaks his pack, threatening the drone inside. He faces a brutal choice: save the gear or stay and fish.
The big mama. Look at this, man. I just got bitten off by a barracuda. Are you joking?
He spots the red popper still bobbing on the surface. Without hesitation, the drops his heavy pack, refusing to lose a brand new lure to a barracuda. He secures his gear on the rocks, staring at the sharp reef. Diving blind is suicide, but the lure drifts fast. He secures his gear on the rocks, staring at the sharp reef. Diving blind is suicide, but the lure drifts fast.
This is risky. Let's do this.
He describes the strike. The barracuda erupted, a knack snapping the line instantly. Now he is swimming. He steps carefully over the sharp reef, knowing one slip could slice his feet. Strapping the camera to his head, he dives into the churning water. He fights the current, eyes locked on the drifting lure. The ocean's beauty is overshadowed by his burning lungs and the sheer toll of swimming against the rip. He grabs the popper. Relief floods him as he treads water, gasping for air after winning a brutal tug-of-war with the ocean's apex predator.
Oh, I need this. I don't know if you guys can see that, but he's just come in, smashed the lure in front of the lure, and there you go, all gone.
He drags his body onto the jagged rocks, holding up the mangled lure. The barracuda sent a clear message. Soaked and pulled by the current, he abandons this deadly shallow to retreat to the cliffs. His drone suddenly drops from the sky. The screen goes black, followed by a sickening thud as it crashes into the wild.
Like I couldn't see around here somewhere. Fuck. Dude, I cannot lose this drone, man. I was just
He finds the shattered fuselage under a rock. Flipping it over, he sees the battery compartment is empty, the power source lost in the debris. He finds the snapped landing leg. The drone is crippled, its arm wobbling uselessly. He points to the ocean, grateful it didn't plunge into the waves. He speculates it struck the tree above first, then came rolling down to this spot. He lets out a breathless laugh. The drone is wrecked, but the footage survived. Losing the gear was a small price to pay for saving the story. Dawn breaks over the coast. Crouched by a steaming pot, the angler greets the morning, ready to wash away yesterday's chaos. As coffee boils, he recalls the drone crash. Refusing defeat, he stood on that rock, casting lures into the pitch black until vision failed completely. The night casting wasn't in vain. He saw a massive school of GTs. Now with the sun risen and a fresh lure dancing, he's primed for a showdown with the reef's true kings. He takes a slow sip of coffee, then turns to address the constant question from viewers who don't fish. What is a GT? GT means giant trevally, muscular, torpedo-shaped rams built for violence. They don't just bite. They annihilate the most feared adversary in saltwater game. From the archives, rolling the footage of his previous battles, he prepares to show the world exactly what kind of aquatic heavyweight they are hunting.
You guys know what a GT? Monster! Look at the size of it!
Though he usually releases his catch, the captain needs food for his family. He gifts the massive fish, flashes a 6 sign of respect, and instantly resets his focus back to the water for more action. The sun turns the rocky terrain into a blazing pan. He navigates the razor-sharp limestone with care, muscles burning under the relentless heat. He pulls out his makeshift tools, joking they are for oysters. Hunger drives him to seek protein in these barren rocks. With a brutal twist, the shell cracks open to reveal a plump oyster. As he slides the raw meat into his mouth, the burst of oceanic flavor instantly replenishing his energy. With the tide stalled and the sun directly overhead, he gives up on fishing. The water is lifeless, making casting futile. He abandons the rods. Before returning to the boat, he pulls a black trash bag from his pack. This cleanup is the most crucial task of his entire adventure. He crouches down to pull plastic waste from the jagged rock crevices here. With only minutes left before departure, he vents his rage at the disgusting filth choking the rocks.
Man, it's disgusting. Someone's like had a fire, but there's so much plastic, cigarette packets, fishing line.
He lifts a crumpled plastic bag. In the water, it mimics a jellyfish. For a hungry sea turtle, this illusion is a fatal trap. With minutes to spare, he pulls on his shades and vows to clean the beach before returning to the boat. With 15 minutes left, he plunges into the rocky maze. Every scrap of line or can he pulls from crevices removes a lethal hazard for marine life. He hauls the heavy black bag across the grass, showcasing the sheer volume of waste removed.
That's a whole entire bag of rubbish. No shit, it took me about...
Frustrated, he demands that those who profit from the sea must protect it. Shifting focus, he gazes at the emerald canopy meeting the endless blue. Despite the pollution, the island's raw majesty remains breathtaking. Shouldering his pack and rods, he makes his way back to the boat. The cleanup is done, but new islands await, promising even wilder encounters in the next chapters. He hoists the heavy trash bag, turning his back on the shore for good.
Yeah, doggies. I don't want to go home, man. Look at this.